make a living. Crypto is on the rise, making that dough in the crypto paradigm. Watching it go, buying low, selling high. Riding the wave, I'm here to stay, living in the digital age. No banks, no fees, just decentralized. It's crypto paradise. Ooh. No banks, no fees.
Good morning from paradise, my fellow surfers. Happy October 1st, or maybe I should say Uptober 1st, because damn, we are looking good. The market's looking juicy, and we have a great show for you guys today. We got a lot to cover. Of course, we'll be going over the charts as always, some catalysts to talk about, some news stories to dig into. We have a surf update or two. A new Dow member's joined. Shout out to the new Dow member. Bunch to get into today. And you know what feels great on a day like this? Yes, the portfolio going up, sure. But when everyone else on crypto, Twitter, Telegram, etc. was saying 124K is the top, the market is going only down now, and I've sold all my Bitcoin, and aren't I smart? I said, okay. Well, let's check back on December 31st and see who's more smart with my very large, very juicy looking bags of Bitcoin that I didn't sell. All right, enough of that. How are we doing today, Nick? How you feeling?
Yeah, doing good. There's a lot of bullish things going on. Obviously, we talked about whether or not the government would close. I don't know why. There we go. Shut down. The government did shut down at midnight. So I went and back tested data to see every time the U.S. government shuts down, what does Bitcoin do? And now with the rally today, it is an 80% chance of Bitcoin having a run-up when the U.S. government shuts down. Before this, it was 3 out of 4 times. Now it is 4 out of 5 times. So there you go. Bitcoin likes when the government shuts down. Imagine that. It was kind of created to be anti-government, and now when the government ceased to exist, Bitcoin pumps.
Yeah, I mean, it's following gold, right? Gold's gone on this tremendous run. It was running even on the rumors of the shutdown. Of course, the shutdown happened. I think gold is doing well. Silver is doing very well. I mean, all these hard finite assets that are not tied to the fiat currencies and the governments of the world are doing extremely well. We'd expect that to continue here. I do think, look, the shutdown's going to be resolved. I don't know, days, week, whatever. They'll come to some sort of agreement on the healthcare issue that they're fighting about. But yeah, for risk assets, or I should say for hard assets, it's a great thing, and it's a great reminder that this is why Bitcoin was created. You know, you can't trust these politicians. You can't trust them to even keep the government open for 6 months, let alone, you know, not deflate your dollars into zero over a 80-year period. So hold on to your Bitcoin. Do not sell it. Diamond hand that shit, and we will see you guys on the beach in 2026.
Yeah, so let's take a look at the charts and see what you're talking about. We'll start with the gold chart since you brought it up. This is a chart we've been following for a long time. We predicted the breakout with a target of $3,900 to $4,000 gold. We've been saying that for this entire accumulation, so for months now. And what do you know? We're right around there. We just got rejected overnight at exactly $3,900 gold. I still think gold could inch higher and could get to this target. Now, if you sell gold here and it goes to 41 or 4,200, don't cry to me, because hopefully you bought somewhere in this consolidation and you can rotate some of those profits into something else that's going to do better, like Bitcoin or Ethereum. But nonetheless, here we go. Gold continues to work higher amidst the government shutdown, and it's right around our targets. So if you have gold, sitting around the house that isn't investment gold, you might want to get close to looking up the pawn shops in your area. Maybe you want to sell some spot gold. They give you good prices on it. And roll that into paying off your debt or buying Bitcoin or buying Ethereum, which I know and think will outperform the remainder of 2025 and into 2026. Paying off your credit card debt probably outperforms this as well, because remember, this is only an 11% move for gold, and credit card interest rates are in the 20s. So keep that in mind when you're living life with debt.
Yeah, I just want you to pause the stream because I need to go downstairs and find my gold chain and just Google where the nearest pawn shop is. Trying to make a couple $100. Yeah, this is crazy, man. This gold, rally. I mean, it's even giving my wife FOMO. She asked me the other day, she's like, how do you buy gold? How does one invest in gold? I mean, people are getting FOMO. Look at this chart. People are getting FOMO. And that's what's going to happen with Bitcoin. Don't think it won't. Bitcoin's going to start going on a tremendous run, and then soon everyone, hey, how do you get into this Bitcoin thing? I hear Bitcoin's back. You buy Bitcoin. We'll all be around the Thanksgiving table, and Bitcoin, Bitcoin, Bitcoin. Who remembers 2017? Same story. So, look, this is creating tremendous FOMO. It's a reminder that people want hard assets that are not tied to the government. Only 11% move on gold, and it feels like it's gone up like 500x. But this sort of shows you what green candles can do, huh?
Yeah, even if you take the exact low before the breakout, so back in August, you're at like 16, 17% move. And you got your wife looking at wanting to buy gold. So it's pretty crazy. I think it's more so, I don't know if it gets shoved down people's throat more because everybody understands what gold is, has gold jewelry, knows how to get gold. I'm not really sure, but it is wild that a 17% move in gold has everybody FOMOing, and it's already the number one asset in the entire world. Now valued at, if I looked it up, probably $23-24 trillion, maybe $25 trillion. And people still want to buy it after a move like this.
Well, it's not because gold, anything special about gold, in my opinion. Yeah, we know it's, okay, it's shiny, it's nice, people like it, whatever. But it's just because the sustained uptrend. You get a sustained uptrend, a multi-week or month-long uptrend. I mean, this uptrend is going back months now. If you get a chart like that on Bitcoin, everyone's going to be saying Bitcoin's the best thing since sliced bread. So it's not really the asset itself, it's just a chart. My wife doesn't care about gold more now than she did 2 months ago. It's just like, oh, I can make money now. So that's how FOMO works, guys. That's how uptrends go. And that's why, when you start to see an uptrend list, people start piling in, it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. So I'm waiting on the chart like this to materialize for Bitcoin. I think it's going to happen sooner rather than later. And I'm so glad I did not sell out when all the fearmongers were out banging their drums a couple weeks ago when all that happened was Wintermute and Binance were shaking people out on leverage.
Yeah, and talking about historical data, obviously we said the 80% chance Bitcoin goes up after U.S. government shutdowns. Well, that just happened today, up to 116,594. But we were also talking about gold there, and historically, Bitcoin lags gold. Some people say 8 weeks, which is 2 months. Some people say 45 days. Some people say 80 days. It doesn't matter. I don't know the exact historical data. Somewhere between 45 days to 80 days, Bitcoin lags gold. Gold has gone on a tremendous run, new all-time high after new all-time high, and still looks like it wants to grind higher. That leads me to believe that, yes, we will have Uptober. Yes, we will have Q4 fireworks, and then we'll have to make the decision if we're on the 4-year halving cycle or if we're switching to the 5-year halving cycle. Or if we're not on a 5-year halving cycle, are we getting an extension of the bull run into early 2026 due to quantitative easing, due to the dampening that has happened to Bitcoin and Ethereum, and due to the institutional demand for these assets as well? So there's another data point for you. We think higher. We think new all-time highs in the next 2 to 3 months here, this year for sure, and then we'll kind of find our way as we go.
Yeah, the shutdown's interesting because it's not just, hey, reminder that you can't trust these governments and to diversify and invest in hard assets. That's a big part of it. But the other big part of it is this may end up dampening growth somewhat. This may hurt the economy, at least to some degree, and then force the Fed's hand to do a rate cut. I know some of the Fed governors were kind of on the fence for the October cut, which is coming on October 30th. Now I think there's probably even a greater chance they end up cutting rates depending on how long the shutdown lasts for. I mean, it gets resolved today, then probably that analysis doesn't apply anymore. But if this persists for days, weeks, you will start to see more pressure on the Fed to cut rates in October, which they should have done anyway. But there was still that trepidation in the market of, are they going to do the right thing, or are they going to dig in their heels and do something stupid? But the shutdown, I think, is going to force their hands even more. So that's another reason why the market's, I think, doing well today, folks.
We got Bitcoin dominance is down 0.28%. That's good for altcoin bags. Looks like a double top here, right around 59%. If you're looking at this as a technical analysis, that means that this double top occurred, and you should quickly fall down closer to 58%. That would mean that Ethereum has to be outperforming, right? Well, Bitcoin's up 2.2%. Ethereum is up 3.64%. Back close to $4,300, running into overhead resistance on these moving averages. It's kind of interesting how those serve as resistance and support so often, but that's because that is human nature. That's why they exist as technical and analysis tools. And if we do this uptrend line here, that means that, hey, Next target is breaking above 5,000, getting some fireworks and running into overhead resistance somewhere between $5,500 to $5,600. And I don't know about you, whether you own ETH or not, that's probably going to do pretty good for your crypto portfolio.
Can't wait for that $5,000 ETH. My prediction is that does happen probably, let's see, maybe right after October 15th when taxes are due for those of us who delay paying their taxes. Us derelicts out there are degenerates, us degenerates who don't pay on time and got the extension to October 15th. They have to sell a couple bit of cryptos to cover our tax bills. And then we're up only from there. So let's see if that prediction rings true. But yeah, great to see ETH rebounding, Bitcoin rebounding. Altcoins doing well. Bitcoin dominance going down a bit. I mean, everything's playing out. God, like, this cycle, I mean, people act like it's been so hard, and oh my God, and it has been hard in many respects. But, I mean, you get a dump at the end of September, and then October 1st starts Uptober. I mean, just right on the dot here. I mean, this doesn't have to be that hard, people.
Well, this goes back to the fractal that we're showing, that we believe that this cycle is much more like 2017 than the last cycle, which means we do get a parabolic run. It's really just the timing of it. But 2017 had that shakeout in September, and then, October started. We had 3 months of really good markets for Bitcoin, and then you had about 4 or 5 months really good markets of altcoins, because after Bitcoin topped at $20,000, there was still an alt season for another month after that. There's even alts that were doing pretty well 3 or 4 months after that top. What comes to mind is back then it was called Ant Shares. It renamed to Neo, and that actually did like an 8x or something like that after that rebrand.
Yes,
and that
Chinese
wasn't all the way.
Ethereum.
Yeah, and that wasn't all the way till like March when that happened. So pretty interesting to look back on history and see the upside potential of the market that we could see here.
I remember
especially
those days well. Those were fun days. Those were fun days. I was a novice in crypto. I wasn't so jaded and cynical and an asshole like I've become. When you start your crypto journey, you're so bright-eyed and we're going to change the world. And maybe not anymore. Maybe it's now just we're going to make money on memes. Let's just stream nonsense on Pump Fund and make money. Maybe that's what it's become. But back in the day, you had some, I don't know, positive views around the market. We're going to change the world, decentralized technology. I hope that comes back. A lot of that does come down to price performance. When price is going up, it's a lot easier to have rose-colored glasses when you look at the market and you look at the underlying coins and the technology there. Versus when the price is going down, you're like, it's all shit, it's all a scam. So anyway, it's going to be very interesting end of the year. I think everything's playing out really as we had predicted, and much of the market predicted. It was only a few negative voices saying a couple weeks ago that like we had topped at 124K and I've sold everything. I mean, I'm looking on now. You had guys like Dr. Profit and Ted Pillows. They were bearish like a week ago. Now they're all bull posting again. Just have some conviction, guys. Have some dang conviction. Hold on during the sell-offs, and then you can toot your horn on the uptrend, but don't try to have it both ways, folks.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot. Peter Brandt said that September was going to be the top. There's a lot of people that think October will be the top, so we're going to have one more run here in October, and that will be it. Yeah, Dr. Profit, who is literally bearish ever since the Fed meeting, calling for $96,000 Bitcoin. We only went to 108, 109. He's notorious for trading leverage there, too, so how does that work out? If you think we're going to 96,000, and we only went to 108, and now we're at 116, they can say, oh, I closed that short. It's like you're not closing shorts 10,000, 12,000 before your target. That just doesn't happen. So be careful who you listen to. Be careful how you trade that because they were smart for a little bit. You had a couple red candles there, but they were still well above their target. And now you're sitting here up another $8,000 off the low, and you got to figure out if you're going to FOMO buy now or if you're going to wait for further consolidation, which makes it really hard on your portfolio, especially if you're trading leverage.
Yeah, just think if you're like the average retail guy who's scrolling through Twitter, watching YouTube videos, you're relatively new to crypto, you're not an expert trader by any stretch of the imagination, just stay away from the leverage stuff. Don't try to outsmart the market. Don't try to, okay, I'm going to buy in now, sell real quick. Like, I just think that's just a very hard game to play unless you're good at it or you're following someone who really knows what they're doing, has a track record of success. But if you're just like the average Joe who's kind of dabbling, getting their feet wet, buying and holding spot for a long time on blue chip cryptos is kind of a tried and true way to get it right more often than not. So that's what I stick to. I don't try to overthink things. I certainly don't panic sell when there's a little minor dip. But it feels good when the market's going up and we can toot our own horn. So with that, I just want to greet everybody who's joined us on the live stream today. We got me, Chapo, in the house as always. Hello. Good morning, Moonmut. Very happy to have you here as well. And yes, I agree. Why aren't more people watching our streams? Well, to be fair, we've definitely grown quite dramatically from when we first started Crypto Paradise. But certainly more people should be watching Crypto Paradise. Tell your friends, tell your family, like, share, subscribe, and maybe this is a good segue. Well, hello, Ben. Here, look, a new viewer I think has come on here. Appreciate you, Ben. This is perhaps a good segue to a little bit of a surf update, some surf DAO news. Moonmite, you should get in the surf DAO. But one of the benefits of being part of the surf DAO, where you need to hold 200,000 surf tokens, you get invited to this private group, you then get a myriad of benefits. One of which is if you invite then a friend, if you refer a friend who then joins the DAO, you get a 10% bonus based on however much they bought. So they bought 200,000 surf to join the DAO, you get 20,000 surf sent over to you within a day or two. And in fact, Jordan, who's a longtime OG Surf DAO member, has invited his friend. I think his friend's name was Cameron, if I'm not mistaken. Has just joined the DAO, but he's new to crypto, and he's learning. So hopefully he's watching the streams and learning something, and not making mistakes that we made early on. We've been in the space for collectively almost 20 years. Early on is tough. So hopefully you're watching there, bud, and learning something, and welcome to the DAO.
There you go. And let's go over my Twitter feed because there is a lot of news things here. Sometimes I post this. Obviously, I'm posting for you guys, but I'm posting for me as well to talk about on the live show and to keep myself focused. So we got Todd Butterfield back with the Learn Crypto live shows. That started yesterday, so he's tested out the new setup, so check that out if you want to see more TA. We got the Crypto Paradise Surf DAO, bought and burned over 530,000 surf, more than 0.5% of the total supply, burned it out of circulation forever. This is kind of the mantra of what Crypto Paradise is doing. We think that Pulse Chain is too deep, and that means that surf is too cheap. So we're using the funds from the DAO to do buys and burns to create supply shock when Pulse Chain does turn around, and that is inevitable. We also know this is something that people have not talked about. Why? Because it was just a little bit of interview, and you had to parse some words. The former BlackRock exec Joseph Shalom, now Sharplink Gaming, says that Fundstrat's Bitmine are not going to be the only 5% ETH treasury. Yes, you heard that right. SBET has revised its target to now acquire 5 million Ethereum. Remember, originally they wanted 1 million ETH, and then they said, okay, maybe 2 million ETH. Well, now they are on the record in a live interview saying, hey, Bitmine wants 5% of the ETH supply, which is 5 million. That's what they want to buy. Plus, then they want to stake and earn more. We're revising based off what we see in the market, based off our funding opportunities. Well, our target is now 5 million ETH as well. Why does that matter to you? Whether you own Sharplink Gaming or whether you own Bitmine, you should own both. I think that's great. That means price goes higher, especially if Ethereum goes up. But why it matters to you as a crypto degen, if you only own ETH and altcoins, is because now that is another 3 to 4 million extra Ethereum that is going to be bought off the open market, held by diamond hands, and staked on the network, soaking up more of the inflation. This is actually really big news, and nobody is talking about it. That means between Bitmine and Sharplink Gaming alone, 10% of the Ethereum supply will be off the market, 10% of the Ethereum supply will be staked, and that means a large portion of the daily emissions, the daily inflation of Ethereum, will be going to strong hands, which does help supply and demand, which helps supply shock and price goes higher.
All right, go higher! That's what we're all here for, isn't it, folks? Shout out to Joseph Shalom. Shout out to Sharplink Gaming. Incredible news. Reminds me of another big news story that maybe you can pop up, but Vanguard. Vanguard is the world's largest asset manager, I think, for retail, stock holdings, right? 8.7 trillion, I think, is what they have under management. Just crazy amounts of money. I actually have a Vanguard account. My wife, everyone who lives in low-cost index funds should have a Vanguard, right? Vanguard, for years and years and years and years, completely anti-Bitcoin, anti-crypto. Thought it was rat poison squared, much like, the other traditionalists out there, the old school boomers, as it were. Now Vanguard, a couple days ago, announces that they are looking to move into Bitcoin and offer Bitcoin to their clients. Now, why does this happen, right? Well, it only happens for one reason. It happens because client demand. It happens because money is there to be made. And it happens because what it is. First they laugh at you, then they try to kill you, and then they buy and hold. Maybe that's a new twist on that tongue-in-cheek phrase. But Vanguard is in the game, guys. Vanguard is getting into the crypto game, and that is also a massive news story that's kind of been swept under the rug because that's trillions of dollars potentially coming into crypto and Bitcoin.
That is wild that Vanguard still doesn't allow crypto ETF trading, even though the President of the United States is supporting it, SEC is supporting it. You got BlackRock ETFs, you got Grayscale ETFs, and Vanguard does not allow clients to trade that. That's pretty wild. That's a bold move. I'm sure they've lost some capital. And the reason I can say that is because the AUM of the Bitcoin ETF and the ETH ETF alone is billions and billions of dollars that otherwise could be in a Vanguard account potentially. So I think they are going to capitulate. They are going to allow it. And like you said, a lot of people in their traditional finance, whether they're old or whether they're a financial advisor, they're not looking to move funds around or move it to a Charles Schwab or whatever it may be. So with this access opening, it's much like centralized exchanges. People just don't buy an asset until it's listed on Coinbase, or don't buy an asset until it's listed on Binance for safety reasons, for ease of use reasons, whatever it may be.
Laziness reasons.
The same applies to Vanguard allowing ETFs. It hasn't happened yet, so it isn't priced in just yet. I expect that to turn on, and what happens is all these institutions have financial advisors, and they're all incentivized by products that pay them fees. So they're not going out saying, hey, let's peel some of your money off and send it to a different account that I get no fees on and buy Bitcoin because I think it's a good investment. Yes, they want your accounts to go up in price, but they're not going to do that at the cost of their own income and their own fees. So until Vanguard starts allowing these ETFs, they're not pushing it on their clients, and that seems like it's going to change very, very soon.
Yeah, the Vanguard decision to reject Bitcoin, I think, came from the top executives, and the ethos and the philosophy behind Vanguard was always like low risk, low fee, long term investing is how you do very well. I think the founder of Vanguard was one of the guys who pioneered the concept of index funds, right? So that was their ethos and their mindset, and now here comes this asset, sort of Wild West, highly volatile. Sure, it goes up 100% every year on average, but there's also those years where it goes down 70%. So it was completely antithetical to their whole philosophy. And so that's why they had initially rejected it. But, enough pressure from clients, enough money, they realized they left on the table. And here we are, Vanguard also going to be allowing crypto investment through their platform. So just another example, guys. Like, we're early. We're still very early. The old guard is only now coming around to accepting it. And there's an avalanche of money out there just waiting to pour into Bitcoin. You guys ain't seen nothing yet.
And a lot of people say that money market funds, regardless, even if interest rates come down, is just going to stay in the money market. And I have been vehemently against that and disagree with that. If the interest rates continue to come down, especially, they need to come down more. We've only had 0.25%. We need them to come down like at least 1% for things to change. But if interest rates keep getting cut, money market returns go down, and everybody looks around and gold's going up and Bitcoin's going up and stocks are going up, they're going to get the FOMO itch as well. They're going to pull it out of that account. They're not going to be outperforming inflation anymore. And people are like, well, inflation's down, so it'll still be outperforming. Okay, so if interest rates go down, your money market goes from making 5% down to 3%. Inflation is at 2%. You have a 1% arbitrage there. Meanwhile, Bitcoin's going up, 100% a year, and gold's going up 10% for the year, and stocks is going up 15% for the year. The money markets has trillions of dollars in it, and it will roll into other investable asset classes when these interest rates get cut the remainder of this year and in early 2026 as well.
Yeah, it's obvious. I mean, people like to act that things are going to be different this time or whatever, but it's not going to be different. There's going to come a time when absolutely the rates are cut enough where the money markets just aren't beating inflation. And then your money managers are going to call you up and say, you got to move into. Now, whether they all move it, they pile into Bitcoin. I mean, not 100% of the funds are moving to Bitcoin. Someone's going to move into the stock market. Someone's going to move into gold. Some into silver. Some into, Ethereum maybe. Who knows, right? It's going to be moving to a multitude of different assets. But Bitcoin will be a beneficiary. Crypto will be a beneficiary. And I completely agree that this is going to happen. I mean, I saw that article. I saw people tweet, people aren't going to move their money out of money market. What are you talking about? They're not going to move it out right now because they didn't cut the rates enough. But what about in 6 months from now when the rates are back down to 2.5%, which is the target that Stephen Miron and this by proxy Trump himself has? So, think ahead a little bit, understand how human nature works, understand FOMO, and get out in front of the trade and buy Bitcoin now.
There you go. Talking about FOMO, Here we go. There's some news from Robinhood yesterday. If you guys still use that app, I know a lot of millennials, Gen Z, whoever, whatever the generations are, the younger people use Robinhood. Also, if you're new to investing, you're not using Vanguard or Charles Schwab, you're not using Coinbase. A lot of people choose to use Robinhood for whatever reason. Well, they just listed Floki. Floki is a dog meme coin that we talk about a lot. The Doge chart is looking pretty good. When Doge does well, kind of like Bitcoin chases gold and outperforms it, Floki chases Doge and outperforms it. And now it will be easier for retail and normies to buy into this asset when meme coin season, when altcoin season comes back. Floki is now available to trade on Robinhood Legend. So there you go. So far, price isn't doing too much. It's up about 5%, nothing too shabby. But if you zoom out, you see this nice uptrend line forming on Floki. This would create an ascending triangle. You see that dotted line there, which means when the breakout happens, you're looking for at a massive rally. Something probably like 150, 160% gains when this breakout occurs. So I wouldn't full port your bag or anything, but it's nice to see that Floki, a dog meme coin, is more than a meme, doing a lot of exciting things. They're also having a tournament in their Valhalla metaverse game. So if you guys are gamers, go check that out. $130,000 in prizes or something insane. So you have the metaverse tournament, you have the Robinhood listing, and you have Doge chart looking like it is doing pretty well and wants to go higher. That's kind of a recipe for Floki to bounce off this and continue to the upside. So there's kind of a mid-cap play for you if you're looking for something to dump some funds into. I know a lot of people don't have a lot of cash, but just in case you do, this is one that has caught my eyes with the headlines, has caught my eyes with the TA, and I think is going to get more degen marketing support with that massive tournament that we're talking about.
Well, that's what I like about Floki. They have an active team that actually, puts forth marketing campaigns, adds more utility for the token, launches sub tokens that kind of funnel value back to Floki. Doge is very decentralized community. They don't do any of these sort of activities that require a proper team. Floki has a proper team. They do these things. But yeah, I think Floki's going to do great. I mean, all these memes. There's going to come a time, I just had this epiphany. I remember last cycle, my realtor that I bought this house from, it was midst of the bull run, whatever. What should I buy? What should I buy? Should I buy Doge? I want to buy Doge. That's what average Joes who aren't really in crypto, they gravitate towards the likes of Doge, towards the likes of Floki. So I think Floki's going to do great this cycle. The fact it's listed now in Robinhood makes it even easier for average Joes and retail to get involved. Man, it's going to be an exciting alt season when it finally happens.
That is very, very true. Shout out to the Wolf of Wall Street's 2.9K viewers. Randy Hipper, I always think of her, Miss Teen Crypto, 387. Shiny D, 135. The Gay OL Awards, interesting. And then Crypto Paradise, 77 today. A little light today than normal. Normally we're in the 130s or 140s, so I don't know why you guys aren't tuning in, but I guess it's light for some others. Bitcoin Ben only has 16. He's usually in the 50s or the 60s. And then we look at the spaces. Spaces are a little light today as well. I mean, only 55, 122, 321, 1.4. So I don't know. I guess people are tuning out, or maybe they're going to get themselves some breakfast since they saw a green candle on Bitcoin. Not too many people watching today on this Wednesday. Maybe you stayed up too late and partied. Talking about partying, yeah, GameStop. Funny. Don't let your wives or your kids see this tweet. GameStop yesterday, 15 hours ago. 7 inches, never felt this soft. GameStop exclusive Danger Noodle plush now available. Making a cock joke. Pretty funny.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I look. GameStop just went full on the degen. They just went straight degen with everything they did, buying Bitcoin, making dick jokes on Twitter. I just love it. It's the big FU to Wall Street and all the funds out there that have been shorting it. And we're saying, hey, we're going to get retail to rally around us with our degen mentality. So good on you, GameStop. I do not own any GameStop. My stock portfolio is very boring. I never even look at it, but it does go up slowly over time. Maybe I'll be rich one day from it. But shout out to all you guys who aped into GameStop on the lows there.
You got your wife with a big stock portfolio too. So yeah, here's where we were yesterday during the live show, and I said GameStop looks good to go higher. Next target is up here around $33, and in every 10 shares of GME you hold, you're going to get 1 warrant for a share for absolutely free. The snapshot happens October 3rd. I've been saying this since the news came out over and over, every live show, and we're down here at $22, $23. Just like crypto market, that spurs speculation. That spurs people not wanting to sell, which spurs price goes up. That is exactly what's happened, and we are up once again. Our entries are now up 26.34%. Will there be a sell the snapshot like some crypto airdrops after October 3rd? Possibly, but if the stock market is still looking well, GameStop is still doing dick jokes, and people understand that they only get money out of that warrant if price goes above $32. That leads me to believe that you probably want to be long, stay long, and understand and join the GameStop community. So GME, shout out to you. I had a chuckle. I definitely had to retweet that, making dick jokes. The other thing too is that people look into this. GameStop has like $9 billion in cash, $600 million in Bitcoin at current price, and is making dick jokes. And they are constantly getting exclusives. I mean, the Pokemon lines were around the corner because they got a Pokemon exclusive card, meaning the only way you could get that Pokemon card is if you bought it from GameStop. Now this is an exclusive. The only way you can buy this soft and fluffy 7 inches is you got to buy it at GameStop. So when you keep getting these GameStop exclusives because companies and brands understand that GameStop is giving them this marketing, giving them this exposure, that's how you get that revenue line to go up, because you can't buy these items anywhere else. And collectibles are doing very, very well right now. When risk-on assets do well, collectibles do well. And it'll be interesting to see if collectibles, who are normally on the same 4-year halving cycle as Bitcoin, if they get on a 5-year business cycle as well, with the thesis that this runs into 2026. And if that's the case, that means GameStop doesn't have another 3 months, 4 months of big revenues, but potentially has another year of big revenues, which could drive price much, much higher.
Oh, GameStop. Shout out to everybody who's investing in GameStop. Great documentary about the GameStop saga from last cycle. If anyone wants to watch that one on Netflix, I believe it is. Great movie there. I forgot the name. Yeah, I like how GameStop's evolved. It's not just a place to buy video games. It's so much more now, and I think the market maybe hasn't recognized that fully. The people who are shorting it anyway need to sort of wake up and see that it's changed over the past 5-6 years. So good stuff to GameStop. Anything else we wanted to cover today?
Yeah, we got BNB. The reason I'm pulling this up, BNB back above $1,025. Didn't see much of a sell-off yesterday. Now, why would there be a sell-off? Well, the official Binance Twitter account was hacked, so don't buy anything that they are showing. Don't click on links. I posted this as soon as I could over on Twitter. They fixed it pretty quickly, and they said the links that were sent out were to buy a meme coin, and then that person rugged that meme coin. About, I think it was like $22,000 or $10,000 was extracted from their users. I'm sure they're going to make those people whole because they saw it on the blockchain. So the fact of the matter that Binance tweeted something out and only $22,000 was lost is very good to see in this crypto world. People are getting a little smart because Binance is one of the biggest accounts out there. And we just had the Aster debacle where CZ shilled Aster, and if we would have bought that, we would have been up 4x. So I know people are watching those accounts and looking to ape the next thing that these accounts shill. So shout out to people not clicking on links. If you clicked on a link and you're one of the $20,000 that was lost, I would reach out to Binance because based on their messaging, it does seem like they're going to make everybody whole. That is literally a drop in the bucket. That's like me picking a quarter off the ground for Binance. So I'm sure they will take care of you on that side.
Yeah, I wonder how long that tweet was up, because that doesn't seem like a lot of money that had been lost. Normally, like if you'd expect like millions to have been FOMO'd into that thing, but I guess it was only up for a very short period of time, and so it didn't affect many people. They'll be made whole. That's good news. Yeah, you got to be careful out there. Anytime something seems too good to be true, or something's a little bit, this doesn't smell right. You got to go with your gut sometimes, and if it doesn't pass the smell test, just stay away. There's too many minefields in crypto, too many ways to lose your money, and a lot of the name of the game really is to keep your money in the market. If you can not get hacked, not get scammed, and you can just hold on to your blue chips for multiple cycles, you'll make a shit ton of money. But you got to not get hacked and not get scammed for that to happen. So I got a lot of horror stories, a lot of scars, and so I'm just paranoid now, and I don't trust anybody in crypto outside of like the 10 people that I associate with, sadly enough. But that's how you stay safe after 8 years being in the space.
We've been talking about $1.6 billion going to FTX creditors. That was happening on September 30th. That happened to be yesterday. And I said, on the 29th, don't forget something like $1.6 billion will be injected into the markets tomorrow, kind of tongue-in-cheek because you don't know how people are going to spend the money. And then, you wake up today and you're like, well, it looks like they smashed the buy buttons because green candles are out there with the U.S. government shutdown. And if they haven't smashed the buy buttons yet, I bet you they're getting the FOMO itch. 1.6 billion doesn't make the market, but 1.6 billion in the hands of degenerates on FTX definitely can help bolster altcoin projects where it only takes $50,000, $100,000, $1 million to really make altcoin charts move, especially with this alt bear market we've been seeing. Liquidity is thin. Does not take a lot of money for altcoins to absolutely moon. This is a reminder. It does not take a lot of money for altcoins to moon. They can happen very quickly. A lot of people will sell out for 20%, 40%, a 2x, and that is when you can get left behind when alt season comes. I know, you want to take profits, you want to do this, you want to do that, but don't blink because things can move very quickly. We saw today some altcoins are already up 5, 8, 10, 12, 22%, just with Bitcoin going up $1,000.
But wait, Nick, I thought alt season was never going to come because human nature has fundamentally changed this cycle. There's no such thing as greed anymore. We've eliminated greed from our emotional milieu. Guys, it's going to be the same fucking thing like it is every other time. The charts haven't allowed for it. The QE hasn't allowed for it. The Fed hasn't allowed for it. I mean, Bitcoin, has done well, Ethereum, etc. But we haven't had a sustained uptrend to trigger that FOMO. We just haven't had it yet. But once that happens, guys, there's a lot of money on the sidelines, whether that's in the traditional markets, whether that's just in stable coins, sitting on the sidelines here in crypto. And there's a lot of people, hey, they don't want to risk anything. They only want to buy in when they are firmly convicted that price will go higher after they buy. And the only time when they feel that way is after 2-3 months of uptrend. So we're in a good spot. We're going to have an alt season. Human nature hasn't changed. Greed is still here and in effect. The macro situation, everything hasn't quite lined up yet, but it is coming.
Well, and something that could spur FOMO and get institutional money on board, as we've talked about this, that in October there is a chance that there will be a stakeable, a dividend-paying Ethereum spot ETF. And why is this huge? Because not only will BlackRock push that, now they can say, hey, you can get in this speculative asset that outperforms the stock market, and it's going to pay you a dividend yield that is going to be similar to that of the money market. Now you can leave the money market, get into the ETH spot ETF, get the upside potential of the asset itself, and get APR bigger than that of the cash market. That is what is coming potentially in October. BlackRock just made some adjustments to make that a reality. And don't forget, BlackRock will absolutely shove this on all their clients, whether they believe in ETH or not, because now they will get even a bigger fee percentage based off of that. If they're staking ETH on your behalf and say Ethereum is paying out 3 to 5%, if you think BlackRock isn't going to keep 1 to 2% for themselves, you are absolutely insane. And when you're talking about billions and billions of dollars of AUM, you can do the math on what 1 to 2% of that yield will be. And that is why you're going to see full support from the institutional finance of Bitcoin and Ethereum. They've never had a time in the history of finance where they can get into an asset that has such massive implications on the upside potential, on technology, and now it's also going to pay a dividend yield, much like the more safer assets. Think Disney or REITs, where you get a dividend yield for holding, and you're supposed to hold it long term. Well, now you have both things happening at once. You can invest in almost a pink slip, the next big thing, while still getting that dividend yield and charging your clients fees on that each and every month.
Hey, that's why I stake my Ethereum. Same exact reason. But this is the reason why when people come to me and say, Crypto Amaru, I know Bitcoin's doing well right now. Ethereum's doing well right now. But don't you know it could go to zero? Don't you know that there could come a time when everyone just agrees that it's worth nothing? And to that I say, BlackRock will never let that happen. The massive money that's now in the markets, the Wall Street players that are now in these markets will not let that happen. It just simply won't happen. And it's because of the reason Nick stated. There's too much money for them to be made. Period. Right? When they know they can make a ton of fees, when they know price go up if they have good supply control, when they know they can have a big win on the books with the most explosive, most successful ETF in history having launched on their platform, you think they're going to let this thing go to zero? Even if all the retail sells out, they'll be there swoop in, buying the bottom, and then pump it up again. So none of this shit's going to zero, guys. Have faith that the big money is now also in these markets with us, and they will send us to Valhalla.
I agree. It looks like Rima just joined the chat. You're a little late, Rima. Yeah, we solved all the world's problems. We gave everybody the 100x, and you missed it. I guess you got to watch the recording.
That's correct. Yes, all world problems are solved. That's what we're doing here over in Crypto Paradise. A couple reminders about Crypto Paradise, guys. We talked about the referral reward. that Jordan and his referee, I think the name was Cameron, they just won, about 30,000 surf tokens just for getting their buddy to get into the surf DAO here. But we also have a multitude of investment opportunities. Frontier Fund, we talk a lot about them. They're killing it. I think once again another 1% day. They've generated more returns for us over the past day or so. So shout out to those guys. The other thing that makes Crypto Paradise very unique, very special. No one else is doing this. We are literally giving away free trips to paradise, guys. Take your family, take your wife, take your girlfriend, fly down to Tulum, Mexico, and you can stay as long as you want. 5-day max. 5-day max. Down to the paradise pad, 10 minutes from the beach. Beautiful 2-bedroom, 2-bath condo. We are literally giving away free nights to all Surf DAO members who want to take their friends and family on a fun vacation. So no one else is doing that. Just another benefit of being part of the Surf DAO and the Crypto Paradise community.
Yeah, I'm looking at the Frontier Fund announcement now, and it does look like yesterday, September 30th, they did make another something like 0.58% or 0.66% for the investors there. So again, 400,000 surf or more gets you in that. And last month, even after fees, we were paid out 10% for the month, while Bitcoin, ETH, and Solana were all down 3, 4, and 5%. So you outperformed the market by 15%. You're able to take profits on that or roll it over to this next period. You can get involved. The only way to invest in that fund is by holding 400,000 surf or more, and that fund currently has something like $775,000 in it. So that shows you some of the whales that are part of the surf community and why the upside for surf we believe in so vehemently. We also just bought and burned 0.5% of the total supply of the surf token. So we're really just waiting on Pulse Chain to do its thing for surf token to do well. We're going to keep providing value utility that is exclusive to surf holders, that is putting passive income and gains into your wallet each and every month.
Shout out to Frontier Fund. Good work, guys. Yeah, the Crypto Paradise pad, as it were. Do not sleep on that. Hit us up. Get a free vacation. I don't know what you guys are doing. It's about to be cold in most parts of the world. You know where it's not cold? You know where it's 85 degrees and sunny year-round? The beaches of Tulum. Hit us up. Get yourself a free vacation. Nick and I were just down there in August scoping out spots for the upcoming Crypto Paradise retreat. That's going to be a larger group trip down there, renting out not one but 2 villas, both of which have indoor pools, because that is how we roll. And we will be inviting you guys down there. Probably, I'm thinking 2026 at this point. I wanted to be November, but we really need alt season to happen first. We need people to actually feel like they have money to spend on a debaucherous trip before they actually spend money on the debaucherous trip. So I'm thinking sometime in Q1, maybe January, maybe February, maybe March. We don't want to go too far into the year there, but it's definitely coming. We were down there and we found the perfect spot for you guys, so keep an eye out on that as well. Just another benefit of being part of the Crypto Paradise community.
Yeah, and talking about the Surf Token and Pulse Chain, Richard Hart did go on a tweet storm yesterday about some updates that were going on. The Pulse Chain Explorer was updated. He's talking about, hey, there's some dumb people receiving these pads that he sent out that think it's a scam, but all marketing is good marketing, so that's starting to find its way over to Reddit. Some people love it, some people hate it, some people think it's a scam, some people are interested in Pulse Chain now. Who knows? Who cares? All eyes are good eyes when it comes to marketing. And, he kind of went on his rant. What else was upgraded? It looks like GoPulse has been upgraded to version 3.3. So a lot of dev updates. No real shills, nothing too bullish. How is the market reacting to it? Well, it looks like PLS is slightly up and the other assets are slightly up as well. Now, why is this important and why is this timing ironic? If you've been watching the live shows, I told you right here that we need to break above this green line. And if Richard Hart is listening, we need to go above the green line. Otherwise, doom can hit your network. And then what do you know? A couple hours later, Richard Hart tweets 10 times in the same day. Is he watching Crypto Paradise? Is he looking at the same levels? I don't know, but it means we're on to something. Initially, we got rejected off that, but we held a higher low, and now we are trying to attack it again today. We need to see a green candle above this green line, Richard Hart. Go market by $1 million and save your chain. Here it is. Zoom in, mark the level. If you go here, this would be 5 waves up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Your 5th wave would come here to around 3,700. That would be resistance at this high and resistance right here where this is support, now flip resistance. That's what you want to see. Green candle to at least here. You can retest this line just like Ethereum did and then continue your journey upward and onward when that happens. Surf is going to do a 2x, 5x, 10x rapidly. PTGC is going to go up very quick. X is going to go up very quick. Rhino Phi goes up very quick. And Richard Hart can have his glory. Now we need Richard Hart to beat his case with the Interpol. Just settle it. You owe some taxes. Ethereum's up. I know you own a lot of Ethereum and Bitcoin. Settle that case. I know you want to be this vigilante and beat Interpol like you beat SEC. But at this point, just pay to play like CZ does and everybody else. Settle that case, get live, and send Pulse Chain to Valhalla.
Listen up, Richard Hart. Wise words here from the hitman. Absolutely. Settle that damn case. Pump our bags. I'll tell you what, I ain't selling here. I have a healthy bag of PLS. You know, I got a lot of Surf tokens that I bought. Rhino Phi tokens. Yak DAO tokens. We're helping to launch other new projects on Pulse Chain. Bear AI. A new one called Plenus Moon is launching soon. So we want this chain to do well. So we're holding on here. We ain't selling. I don't know what you guys are doing. Like, if you believe in Pulse Chain, now is not the time to cheat out at the lows. Just hold on to your bags. Have some diamond hands for once, you fucking
the morale and momentum on Pulse Chain is really, really low. Like, some whales cheated, like, full porting out. They're chasing stuff over on whatever that new XPL or whatever that was called. That one apparently is having some trouble. That's back down to $1. So they're chasing things. They're trying to figure stuff out. And, hey, we want to make gains elsewhere as well. But for how low the morale is, you would think that Pulse Chain is at all-time lows, and it is up 111% off the low. Now, it's still lagging Ethereum. Ethereum's up like 125 or 130% off the low, but it's not marketably different for how low the morale is on Pulse Chain. And what I will say is that does allow for upside to be even higher. When you have morale and stuff this low and the price isn't really that bad, everybody's being bearish on it, everybody's full porting out, chasing the new layer 1 that's now down 80% since our live show 2 days ago. That's a recipe for big upside potential. You're shaking out a lot of weak hands or people that wanted to sell out for a 2x anyways, and allows people that are looking for 10x's, 20x's, 100x's to be the remaining final hands holding. So this is critical.
We'll be here. Moon or dust. Moon or dust here at Crypto Paradise. We are believers in Pulse Chain. And look, I get it. If your entire portfolio was Pulse Chain assets or PLS or whatever, okay, fine, diversify, whatever. But for me, it's like a part of my portfolio. So I guess I can afford to take a little bit of risk and say, let's just wait. Let's see how this thing plays out. Let's trust our conviction. Let's trust Richard Hart. Let's trust our own ingenuity and what we're doing, our little piece of the puzzle that we're trying to achieve here at Crypto Paradise. Let's trust all that and say, let's hold on. Let's hold on up until through alt season and the euphoria that hasn't even hit yet. So have some patience, guys. Have some conviction, what you believe in. And diamond hand it here, goddammit.
We shall see how it all plays out. Big level, Richard Hart, big level, because now you're playing with fire. Obviously, you want to shake out weak hands, but you don't want to lose your users. You still got to grow users on the network, no matter how many billions of dollars you have. Makes it a lot easier for price to go up if you have people actually building on the chain, using the utility tokens, launching new tokens, investing in tokens. So you don't want to push it too far. And that white line right here, if you break below that, complete, utter failure, you're going to lose everybody, especially the timing of that will probably be when the other networks are doing well.
That's absolutely a real thing, talking about the builders. You know, we had a call with Rhino Phi. We've had numerous calls. We speak with them on a regular basis. And they're looking to build new products, launch new, innovative solutions over on Pulse Chain, perhaps do a little bit of a fundraise to do so. And we're like, hey, man, like, I don't even think you can pull the trigger on a $50,000 product build out right now on Pulse Chain because we don't know which direction shit's going. So Richard Hart, if you're listening, I mean, the price does matter. It matters to not only the speculators, but also the builders, right? The investors. People won't want to invest in new products over there. They want to build new products over there. That's just the cold, hard reality of being in the financial markets. And I'm sure Richard knows that, but like, come on. Pump our bags, and then maybe Rhino Phi will decide to build those new products over there.
Yeah, and I think the biggest thing, I replied to one of Richard's tweets here. Let me see if I can find it.
I saw him mentioning about, free stuff. People don't appreciate free stuff. And I'm like, well, maybe that's because it's free. People don't appreciate free stuff. News flash.
Yeah, I don't know where it is, but essentially, in history, if you watch some of Richard Hart's old stuff, he talked about how the other founders are either inactive or they're not doing enough or whatever it may be. And, I'm telling him, hey, You're the face of Pulse Chain. You need to be the face of Pulse Chain. That's why Hex did a 10,000x. That's why Pulse Chain raised $1 billion. Is you were live making a lot of sense. Not only talking about your products, but talking about Bitcoin trading, Ethereum trading, how to avoid the minefield of crypto. You were changing people's lives by educating them, saving their wallets, and of course, that helped your products do very well. You got to be the face again. You talk shit on Charles Hoskinson. Well, he's still live talking about Cardano. And even though people aren't using that network, it's still like a top 5 asset because he's live multiple times a week talking about it. Justin Sun with Tron, kind of a scammer, but Tron, if you look at it, they're doing very, very well this cycle. And Pulse Chain hasn't done that yet. Why? Because Justin Sun doesn't do live shows, but he's always in the news. He's buying $5 million bananas, and he's doing this, and he's doing that. Same thing for Vitalik. Vitalik is, in my opinion, a terrible founder. I think he's so fucking weird. His public appearances are just cringeworthy, but he's still out there doing it, and he's getting support from the institutional finance due to all the other connections that Ethereum has. So now is your time to shine. You talk about Satoshi disappearing, and now it looks like you're disappearing for the past 2 years. Yes, you've had a recorded video or two. You had SEC, you had Interpol, but now that stuff's all getting resolved. And will the old Richard Hart, the live shows come back, the conviction come back, which helps pump up your network, helps pump up your ego, helps you help others by avoiding scams. But also, I know Richard Hart has an ego. He wants glory. He wants that. He wants to make a million millionaires. And the only way to do that, in my estimation, is not by random text tweets, but to actually get live on a daily basis. Get live 3, 5, 7 times a week. Put your face out there again and help steer the ship here in crypto. Remember, at the end of the last cycle, he was all over the place talking about Hex, talking about Pulse Chain, debating Bitcoiners, debating Ethereum guys on what needs to happen for success of these products, and he was spot on a lot of it. And I think he's a very smart individual and needs to get live in order for that to happen. If Richard Hart starts going live multiple times a week, you will see absolutely God candles on his network, because when you listen to him talk, he is going to save you a lot of money. He's going to make you a lot of money. And by proxy, you're going to be like, you know what? I like this guy. I trust this guy. I'm going to buy his products. And if you hate him, you're still going to be like, I'm going to just buy his products just in case, because last time he was doing this, Hex did a 10,000x.
Well, it seems like someone's been watching Crypto Paradise, or maybe Richard Hart's tweets, but 50K buy of BTGC right now. Look at that. So, maybe the whales that were fading and the whales that were selling out, maybe they were just biding their time, taking some profits and waiting for a better time to enter. And here we go. 50K buy at BTGC. That's great to hear.
Yeah, and PTGC is fighting the downtrend of Pulse Chain, because if this thing was on a different network, this thing would probably be $1 billion asset. And you're like, Nick, that's crazy. Well, remember, Pulse Chain hasn't done much. PTGC already hit a $400 million market cap at the last high in February when the entire market topped, and it's still sitting here today at over $80 million market cap, while Pulse Chain is still down and to the right. Remember, we gave you a buy on PTGC at 1 million, 2 million, 3 million, 5 million, 10 million, 20 million. Been constantly talking about this, and even though all the assets are down, and PTGC is even down 60%, it's still sitting at an $80 million market cap. That thing already had a $400 million top back in February.
Just a little taste of what's to come. That was not even amidst a, market-wide alt season, maybe a mini one. But we haven't seen that, true euphoric phase across all of crypto. So how high is PTGC going to go? I don't know. Probably higher than that 400 million. How high is Surf going to go? Certainly higher than its 3.6 million previous all-time high. So yeah, we're in the doldrums here. Yeah, Pulse Chain's been underperforming. So is a lot of altcoins. Let's just be patient. Have some conviction. Moon or dust, baby.
Any other questions, comments, concerns? Shock of Vibes, was that you buying, or was that just some random whale you're watching Dex Tools and it just happened? If it was some random whale...
Shaka. That's how Shaka rolls. I know him. 50K buys like it ain't nothing. Just bam. Press that buy button, baby.
I do know that I don't know if this is that or not, but the PTGC does have a treasury wallet due to the taxes similar to that of Surf Token. They kind of were the first ones to do it over on Pulse Chain. And I do know they have something like, last I checked, $350,000 in that wallet. Maybe that was them deploying some of that $50,000 buy and burn, maybe a $50,000 buy and LP ad. Who knows? But a project having $350,000 in a treasury wallet that is constantly buying and burning the token, that definitely helps price when the market turns around.
Yeah, especially when everything's programmed already. They don't really have a big dev team, to my knowledge. They don't really have ongoing expenses, so everything they do can be poured back into into the chart, into buy and burns, into LP ads, etc. So yeah, very bullish on PTGC. Surf is sort of inspired largely by what PTGC did, at least from a token economics, token utility standpoint. Obviously, we're quite different with the underlying business of word marketing and entertainment and banter around crypto topics, but looks like 8.4 billion pulse in the Dow of PTGC. Certainly gives us something to aspire to over at Crypto Paradise. I think we had like $5,000 worth of pulse at one point before our buyback happened, but we'll get there. We'll get there, folks.
Yeah, 8.4 billion, and that Dow is worth over $300,000 at current PLS price. And you can see how that can scale because if PLS goes up 10%, well, now you're at $340,000, and it doesn't take much for these assets to move. So that's kind of the same mantra we've taken. We're doing the buys and burns, whatever, but we try to let it build up, and we try to use it when Pulse Chain is running because that means it has a higher dollar value and impacts the surf community much more.
Yeah, man. Let's see how this all plays out. We're bullish on Pulse Chain. We're bullish on alts in general. Don't fade now. Don't sell out now, right before alt season kicks off. Q4 is going to be explosive, just like it always is. Bitcoin, if it repeats 2017, or even does a fraction of what 2017 gave us, we'd be looking at damn near $200,000 Bitcoin, or higher, depending if it really truly gets like 2017. I think we were like 70%, like October. We were 40% November, 30% December. You start doing that this cycle, we go bananas. But even if we get just a fraction of that, we're much, much higher. So hang on to your hats here, guys. It's going to be a really fun Q4. And anything you want to finish up with other than
the only chats that we can see are on live YouTube. So if you want us to be able to pull up your comments, you need to be on YouTube to do that. But shout out to Pancake over on Twitter. Must be watching. Put a nice little Snoop Dogg meme there saying, "Oh, stop it." He must be getting bullish and giddy as well with all the information and data that we are providing. We are not just full port bulltards because we want to be bulltards. But a lot of what we're talking about is the data and the macros that back up being a bulltard. So until that data shifts, I think we're on the right side of history here.
Yeah, I mean, we've been on record saying that we will tell you when we think the market's toppy. It's way too euphoric. We think a correction's coming, a massive, dump in a multi-year bear market. We will tell you when we think these things are coming. We've lived through multiple of those moments. But now is not that time. Today is not that time. 3 months from now, let's see how things are, and maybe we'll have more to say about the top. But at this moment in time, man, we are still in a really good spot if you're bullish and you think markets are going higher, because I know we do.
If there's no other comments, questions, or concerned, I guess we're going to get on with our day, try to get some short-form content out, so stay tuned for that. See what kind of meetings we have. There is a lot of projects we're trying to help launch, whether it's pre-sale investments we've already made, whether it's projects I want to launch on Pulse Chain that are going to buy and burn surf forever. A lot of good things coming. And you can kind of speculate and extrapolate how rapidly that could help the surf token. We know that Yakdal's already bought and burned over 200,000 surf, which is like 0.2% of the total supply, and Yakdal's very new themselves. So if we get a couple more really good projects on Pulse Chain starts running, surf is going to be a big beneficiary of that. And of course, the Surf DAO gets these contract addresses first. Yakdal launched at like 9K market cap or 16K market cap, and the Surf DAO were some of the first people to get that contract address, so hopefully we were able to buy it on the cheap, as it ran to 400K market cap and is currently sitting at something like 120, 130K market cap. So big gains there, and of course, every transaction, buying and burning surf forever.
Love it. Love Yakdal. We got 2 more coming similar to Yakdal launching on Pulse Chain. One is called Plenus Moon. Follow our channel for more information on that project. Very unique. A lot of sort of positive vibes on that. Warm and fuzzy feeling you get when you're talking about Plenus Moon, because it's all about giving back to people, which I love that. And then the other is Bear AI. If you're into AI, there hasn't been a lot of AI tooling, AI products on Pulse Chain, so this will be the first. Bear AI. These projects are launching it within 1 day of each other if things go according to plan. So yeah, this feels like perhaps the very beginning of alt season. Let's see how the market decides to go here. But we are bullish as always. And until next time, guys, we will see you on the beach.